Dave here with Saddleback Leather. You know, some people say my bags are way overpriced. But that's just because they don't know how difficult and expensive it is to tan high-quality leather. Well, today I'm going to show you how they do it. And it all starts with a hide, like the one on this cow I'm riding. Come on, Whisper, to the slaughterhouse. So this is a raw hide straight off the cow, and I want to show you how they turn something like this into something like this, a nice finished piece of leather. It's a little something called the tanning process. Come on, I'll show you, let's go. So this is where the hides come in to the tannery. This is what the leather looks like straight off the cow. So this is where they get the salt off the hides. Just after they desalt it in the tumbler, this is where they put it to rehydrate it. But not only rehydrate it, they put in some chemicals to get the oils and greases out of the hide. And they don't use phenols, that's important. They use a type of alcohol that's much more expensive, but the phenols are not biodegradable and they're just really bad for the environment. So this is the fat that comes off in the tanning process. And people come and buy it from them to make toothpaste, shampoo, skincare products, but in the raw, this works really well as a healing balm and as a chafing lubricant. So the next process is real easy. It's the dehairing process. What they do is they tumble it for another 24 hours with a whole lot of water, some sodium sulfides and various other things, and that bloats it and gets the hair out. This is the process of demeating. This is what when they take the hide after it's soaked in here to get the hair off, and they demeat it, flip it over, demeat the other part of it, it's good to go. Okay, this is the stuff they take off the hide before they tan it, and they sell it for hot dog food. Hot dog food. Hot dog food. Hot dog food. Hot. This is the preparation so it can receive the chromium. So what they do here is the ice with sulfuric acid, and for about an hour they inject it into the drum here. And that opens up the molecules, getting them ready to accept the chromium. And then when they put the chromium in, the pH level will be really low and the chromium will get deep down and penetrate the hide. This is the important part. This is where they add the chromium into the leather. The leather has been kind of brewing with the sulfuric acid for quite a while, several hours. And now it's ready to accept the chromium, and it'll penetrate down in there, and then they'll put a little magnesium oxide in there, and it'll help with the bond with the fibers at a molecular level, and you have a nicely tanned leather. Now, if they don't do this part right, then you get a bad leather. Then what will happen is Chromium III, it'll turn into Chromium VI, and that's carcinogenic. So what a lot of places will do, they won't even check. Maybe they might accidentally send out bad leather, but this place is constantly checking. If they have to redo it, they have to redo it. But this is the biggest part of the tanning process right here. So if a tannery wants to sell a lot of leather, but they don't have very many drums, what they'll do is they'll tumble the hides with the chromium about half the time, which means that the chromium doesn't penetrate all the way in, where all the greases and preservatives used to be. And then they sell it off to the finishing tannery finishes it, and then your bag falls apart after 6 months or a year or 2 years, and you wonder why. Here we are, the really expensive Italian water filtration area. Now the cheap tanneries don't have places like this. They just dump all that stuff out of the drums straight into the river. Hey kids, get your fishing poles, let's go fishing. Okay, so after the hide's gotten out of the big drum, they take it over here and they squeegee out the water of it. And then they take it over here to decompress for about 24 hours before they split it. So here's the end of the tanning process for the wet blue, and before it goes off to be finished. So this is the wet blue hide. It's about 4 millimeters thick. the top, about the top half of it has all the grain in it, which is all the fibers all twisted together, all the pores, all the really good stuff, really hard, tough part, which is what we use, is on the top. And then the bottom half is the genuine leather or the suede. And so what they'll do is put it through here, and depending on what the client wants, if they want it thinner or they want it thicker, they separate it here and give it to them. One for me, one for them. One for me, one for them. As you can see, the tanning process is not easy. This is the first part of the tanning process, but it's foundational to great leather. So it gets down to the end, it goes bad, they redo it. That's what high quality tanneries do. That's what high quality leather is made of. Low quality tanneries, it gets down to the end, is bad, and they make a bad decision and they send it on anyway. Bad pH, bad chromium, who cares? Now everyone makes bad decisions sometimes. For instance, looky here, my shirt. I didn't button it all the way to the top. See that? I corrected a bad decision. And you know what? If you've made bad decisions in the past, you can correct them too. Button your shirt. Whatever your shirt is, button it. So this is the Eunuch machine. What this thing does, takes off the top layer of the hide, which has all the grain in it. The grain is all the great stuff, the great fibers that make it strong. The first time I saw this, it kind of went dead inside, like a lot of people do. Well, anyway, so here's what happens. Check this out. This is the best part of the hide right here. And what they do is they sell this to dog food makers. And the dog food makers use it as filler in the dog food. So the cheaper the dog food, the bigger the pile of poop in the backyard. I'm just telling you the way it is. But also, this is what bonded leather is made of. But anyway, we don't use this. We use, at Saddleback, we use the full grain. We like the scars, we like the brands, we like all that beautiful stuff, but a lot of people don't for some reason. So this is the most important part of the tanning process. They'll tan it for 8 to 10 hours in these things, tumbling them. They throw the wet blue in here, they throw the water-soluble dyes, not the lead-based or any dangerous ones. Then they throw in tannin, which they use for vegetable tanning. And then they throw in the highly refined oils. They dump them in here and they tumble for 8 to 10 hours. And so that way all of those oils, all the tannin, all of that stuff gets all the way to the very center of the hide. Why is this important? Check this out. You got the chromium, you got the collagen. And they bond together like this, really hard, right? And then you got the oils, and you got the tannin, and these all join in the chain of molecules there. It makes it soft, durable, and strong. Here's what the cheaper tanneries do. They only tan it for a little bit. Instead of 8 hours, they'll do, I don't know, like an hour or two, just so where it looks nice, but it's rotten on the inside. I know people like that. But think of all the money they saved and all the materials and in time. They got a whole lot more through these drums than we do. So they squeegee the hides out right over here, and when they're finished, they bring them back over here to this heating vacuum system. I have an older model of this at home. I used to collect them when I was a kid. But what it does is it heats up the hides, presses them, heats them up, and then when they begin the vapor begins to come up, the vacuum just sucks away the moisture. And thus, the drying process has begun. So this is called the toggling process. And this is the last part of making the thing dry. What they do is they pull the hide really nice and tight. They get it, which kind of opens everything up, and then they put it back into this oven and let it bake for a little while longer. So check this out. Here's a wet hide here. So the next step in the drying process is hanging. What they do is they hang it on these racks and they go all the way around, come back around here, and really slowly, and they go through this big long oven here. So after they split the hide, they give the full grain part to me, and then they take the suede or genuine leather to this machine here. And they have these different plates they slide in there that have different kinds of grain based on what you want, but there's no grain in the thing. So they have to press the grain into the thing. Now here's how you can tell fake crocodile or fake ostrich or fake elephant from the real stuff is it's very uniform. Notice it's all the same width all the way down. In a ostrich, all the dots are evenly spaced. That's not in real life. So they have all the different plates for pressing to get whatever you want. You can get elephant, you can get ostrich, you can get crocodile, you can get aardvark. They can even do house cat, because you know how hard it is to find a house cat this large. After the drying process, they put it through here, and this adds the color to the top. So any color that you want, if you want it, and or any effect you want it shiny, you want it glossy, you want it matte, you want it kind of in between eggshell. And you would put it here, and it puts the finish on it for you. So here we are in the waxing process. Now this is a highly refined wax. It's way more expensive than the kind of the lightly refined waxes. And the reason is that we use this is because we wanted to go deep down into the fibers and to sit there. It doesn't bond with any other collagens or chromium or anything like that, but it sits there deep down in the hide. And what it does is it goes through here and it gets under these heat lamps, and the heat opens up the pores on the hide, which make it go even deeper. It's really a cool process. So this is the final step in the tanning process. With heat and pressure, they press the chemicals, the finishes, the waxes, make sure they're bonded real nicely. Do not get your fingers stuck in this. So what I really hope is that from what you just watched, it'll give you a better, appreciation and help you to value more high quality leather and high quality products, whether they're briefcases or furniture or leather suits, that for the rest of your life you'll gravitate toward investing in high quality things that they'll fight over when you're dead.